user authentication. After we have built our apps, sometimes we need our app to be used by users. So we need to sign them in and sign them up, and like basically have like a user base. But integrating different authentication tools with the things we have, like our frameworks, React and Next.js, usually it's a bit of hard, even if you're using Firebase and Nextdoor. If you're using Nextdoor, you have to set up all the authentication yourself. If you're using Firebase, you have to use a client-side library. Uh, so we are going to be using modern server components. So Next.js app directory, Nextjs13. Um, but it is kind of hard to use the like the normal tools with authentication tools with Nextjs13 App Directory. So today we are going to get started with authenticating your users in your next app uh, in a very small time period with the amazing service that is known as Clerk.
Right. So we are going to get started with Clerk right away. So this is their webpage, Clerk.com. You can access everything you need here. First, what you have to do is you have to create a account, and then after you create an account, you will be allowed to create your application on their platform. So they will give you this interface where you can add your application there. Once you have your application in hand, what you can do is you will be greeted with this kind of an interface to copy your uh, keys, the secure keys you need to add to your project, so you can use the created Clerk apps. So here we are going to set up .env.local to add all the keys, right? Once we have that in hand, what we are going to do is we are going to get their npm package so that we can use all the components, right? Uh, so we are going to install it into our project. Once
And
we have our Clerk added to our application, what we are going to do is we are going to set up Clerk to use with the Nextjs13 app directory. So here you can see we need to add a Clerk provider. So this Clerk provider will help us use all the features from Clerk. We are going to go to the layout file. We are going to wrap the entire HTML with this Clerk provider. So we can import this provider from this place right here, and now we have added the provider. Once we have the provider, we need to configure the middleware that we need for our application. This middleware acts as a way where if a user is asking for a protected route, so like an admin page, they need to if they are not signed in, we need to send them to sign in first. So what we are going to do is we are going to add this middleware as well. So how we are adding this middleware is at the root of the project we are going to define middleware.cs and we add this code. Right. Now, these three paths are going to be public. Anybody can access these paths. Any other path will not be able to access. They would be automatically redirected to sign in. Right. Once we have all this set up, now it's the time to get to go to the juicy parts of Clerk package. So we can set up an interesting sign up page. They are going to give us this component actually. You can just drop it into your project. So let's do that now. So basically you can grab the sign up page. Now we are going to go to app directory. We are going to create sign in and we are going to create page.csx. Yes, import. So I'm going to wrap this guy with a div for the page. So like this, and there you go. Right. Now I'm going to center this. Justify good old centering a div. Items center, and I'm going to make this the string, and I need a similar setup for the sign up page as well. Sign up. So this is the sign up route, page.tsx. Now here, instead of sign in, it should be sign up. You know, do the sign actually here, right? Now you will be able to see some interesting things. If I go to the sign up page, I will be greeted with this component for the sign up page. So here we have the Clerk built-in drop-in component, which is looking very nice. We can add our email address, password, or we can just continue with Google, right? So we are now going to be signing up to the project. Now automatically the user will be onboarded to the project and redirected to the home page. Now we have our user authenticated. So if we are in the sign in page, we can basically, if this user is already have an account, we can sign in them as well. Right. Now once a user has been logged in, we need to show that he is actually logged in, and we need to give him some functionalities to either sign out, edit his passwords and everything. Usually if you are doing all those manually, it's going to be hard, but Clerk is awesome. They are going to give all those components, all those features just by dragging and drop, like just by getting their component for that. That component is called user button. Now let's add like a very some pretty navigation bar. So let's go to here, navigation.tsx. First let's create a folder called component, and there let's create a file, navigation.tsx. So since we are using some features that need client functionalities like user button clicks and everything, you need to make this guy a use client, because he will be able to click on his profile icon. So here I'm going to say navigation. So here I have a very basic div. I'm like going to set up like some justify between. So justify between. Here I would put like a text to auth, auth, and here, so on the left side we have this word auth, right, as the navigation. So let's add this navigation component to the entire page by using the layout file. Yeah, now let's import this guy, right? So once we have import, we can see the navigation bar. So to see it properly, I'll add a border black, right? Okay, now we can see the navigation bar. Then we are going to do is we are going to add this user profile icon, so something like this here. So we are going to import these things. So here we are going to import these, and we are going to use them here. So if a user is signed in, we are going to show a user button. If it's not, we are going to show him a sign in button. Now this user is actually signed in. So because that guy is signed in, we are going to show him this icon, right? So what is amazing about this is, if I go to manage account, I will get everything, email, security, password changing, everything, just by importing this component, we are getting there, right? And once we have this set up, we have a nice navbar, right? Nice navbar, looking awesome. Sometimes in our code, we need to have access to this user's data, right? We need to know his name, we need to know his unique ID to use with other APIs and associate it in our databases. So how we can do that? How we can actually access that data? That is by they give you a hook, a React hook called use user, that gives you all the data about the user and the loading state, like while fetching that data of the user from the server. Right. Now let's say make a little component that just greets the user. Let's call this greeting, right? uh, Greeting.css, and we are going to call it greeting, and then h1. Let's make it a little big for Excel. Semi bold, right? Now we have that set up. We are going to see the how we can use the React hook. So you need some client-side functionalities here. So you are going to be using use client here as well. So how you can use this is you are going to be importing these components. You only need use user hook, right? So with this use user hook, what are you going to get access to is these guys, right? You can get the loading state of the user, whether he's signed in or not, and if he's signed in, we can actually get the data. But we need some conditional rendering to do here. If he's actually like while he's loading or he's not signed in, we are not going to show anything. But once if he's signed in and after it's loaded, what we are going to do is we are going to greet this guy. So we are going to just say, I'm going to make this cell. Hello, welcome, and then you can access the user dot, and you have a log. You have email address, full name, everything. Once we do that, we can see. So this is in the greeting. So let's add this greeting to a protected route. For now, we can if I put this greeting component here. Instead of home, I'm going to put the greeting component here. It will show us hello, welcome, Anupu Samar Vikrama. But this is very interesting if I use it in a protected route. So this is the greeting. So this is the greeting in this component, in this page basically. We are accessing the current user, right? And then we are going to create another page actually. We are going to refer to another page actually here that we can define as the admin, and that is going to be a protected route. So admin page dot css. So see admin div greeting. Now we have this. Now admin is a protected route. So if I go to admin, so it is going to, by the middle it is going to check whether there's a user, whether it's actually a protected or not. So if it is protected, but I have signed in, so it is going to show this. What happens if I sign out and try to access admin? I'm going to be redirected to the sign in, where I can sign in like this to the application, which is going to land me in the home page. Now I can access the admin. So with this use user hook that we use, you can access this user's data. So instead of the full name, we can have the unique ID for the user, right? You can use this ID and associate with your user data, store it into your database, and do everything that a fully authenticated application has. So this is using Clerk with Nextjs13 App Directory. I hope you got value out of this. I'm going to link everything, the documentation of Clerk and the starter file, the final file for you to get and use. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in another video.